Alright, starting the stream. Let me make sure everything's working right, and then we'll begin. Alright, folks, just wait a few minutes as I prepare everything up. Hold on a second. Alright, looks like everything is good, so welcome everybody to today's stream here on the Ultimate Diecast Review channel. Today, I will be showing you some more NASCAR diecasts. I'll be reviewing them. These are cars that range from the 2010s to modern, or I don't think I have any next gens in here, but it's going to be a bunch of random stuff that I've collected over the years, mostly 160. I think it's all 164s. So if you're a fan of 164 cars, today is going to be a great day to watch some reviews. So the first one that here, or hold on. Alright, looks like everything's good to go, and we will begin now with this first car of the stream. So this is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s 2017 Nationwide car that he drove as a primary during his final full-time season. So, Dale Earnhardt Jr., as we all should know, or maybe we all don't know, but Jr. retired after the end of the 2017 NASCAR Cup Series season. And this was the final Nationwide car that he would drive. He had Nationwide as a sponsor from 2015 till 2017. Nationwide would eventually leave NASCAR at the end of the 2019 season, if I remember correctly. This car, I think, I remember it most as he was leading, I think, the Daytona 500, and he ended up getting taken out, or he ended up getting a wreck with Kyle Busch and other Toyota drivers during, I think it was like the middle portion of the Daytona 500, but this is a very, very nice looking car. One thing that, this was produced during that weird iffy stage of the sponsorship of the main sponsorship for the NASCAR, or Cup Series as we call it today, but it was the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series until Sprint eventually left at the end of the 2016 season. Monster Energy would come in for the next two seasons, or technically three, 2017, 2018, 2019. But they did put the roof net, like how they used to as well during the 2016 season. The name is right here on the windshield, but at the beginning of the 2017 season, that was changed to have the logo for Monster Energy instead, or it said Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series instead on there. So this is a very nice car, honestly. And I'm glad I have it because I actually don't really have many Dale Jr. cars from 2017. I think this one and an Exalta car is the only ones I have, but really like this car. The blue and the white is very sleek on this car. The silver, like, I love the reflective number. That silver number 88 looks so good. The big number, the silver just works really well on this car. Love the blue stripes running down the white on this car. Nationwide, this is a very solid car. They always had pretty solid cars at the end of their run in the Cup Series. So, very solid car. Would recommend. I don't know where you can get these anymore. Probably eBay, but If there's one in the box, I might want to try and find one because I like this car a lot, actually. I don't even know if I think the 124 scale was made of this, but well, I'll have to try and figure out if it was or not. Probably was because Dale was, and still is, one of the most popular drivers in NASCAR history. So, it's a very nice car. Let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, so this is another one I wanted to show on stream right here. This is a very bizarre car. I don't even know if some of you have seen this before. Some of these are really beat up. Like this one is pretty beat up. It's 4 years old. It's been sitting in this crate actually, full of other cars. So can't be really good for the condition for this car or all of these cars. But this is Raj Chastain's number 77 when he drove at Spire Motorsports part-time during the 2020 season. This is the Melon Man Diecast, and this is a really solid car, honestly. So if you don't know the backstory of this, this was ran at the Indy Oval, the last Indy Oval race in 2020, before it eventually came back this year. And this was driven by Raj Chastain, who, as we all know, or if you're just tuning in, Raj Chastain is I think an 8th generation watermelon farmer. So his entire brand has been watermelons. Even every time he wins, he smashes a watermelon after the race. But this was when he was full-time in the Xfinity Series, but doing part-time Cup Series starts. And I love you can see the watermelon running down the side right here. The pink, the pink and the 2 shades of green right there. The Melon Man brand. This is kind of started his brand in general. And it is a very nice car. Black, pink, and green. A very unique car. I don't think these colors have really been ran again. I'd love to see this car, if possible, for Trackhouse to do a car similar to this. But I think this is when he was funding himself, technically, or his family was funding him. Of course, now that's not technically the case anymore because he is fully sponsored at Trackhouse, Busch Beer, Kubota Tractors. Who else? I know there's more than that, but I can't think of any else right now. But Jockey's another one. But this is a very nice car. Kind of a weird, bizarre one, but I really like it, and especially since it's a Spire number 77. I don't really have many Spire cars as well, so really nice. Glad I picked this up when it came out. But next up, let's see. I should show one of these Disney Cars things, I think. That's why I wrote cars in the titles, because I wanted to show some Disney Cars stuff as well. So if you like Lightning McQueen, you're going to probably like this one. This is quite old. So this is a Lightning McQueen. I don't even know what this is. I want to say maybe a 143, because this is it compared to another car. This is a Marcus Ambrose number 9 Stanley car. Really nice, actually. But this I want to say is probably like a 143-ish. So this is Lightning McQueen's Rusty's car. I got this back when the movie was releasing in 2017. It's been a while, 7 years almost since I've got this thing, but completely forgot I had it. It's a bigger version of the normal Cars diecast that they make, which are, I think, 164 as well. But this is the car, or the design that he was driving in the first, let's say, 15 minutes of the movie, where it has the giant, this one's really beat up, actually. It has the Rusty's lettering right here. Still the iconic lightning bolt, but it's a little bit different, especially right here where it shows the Rusty's, the lightning bolt with the Rusty's on it rather than the actual logo for Rusty's. But I love Lightning McQueen diecast, especially like this. It's such an iconic car. The red, the lightning bolt running down the side. This one actually has a little bit darker shade of red compared to the rest of the car, if I can try and focus in on that. Yeah, okay. So, as you can see right here, it's a little darker than the rest of the red, but it still looks incredible. And this is the car, as some of you have probably seen it, or most people have seen, is the car that he ended up getting in that huge wreck in the first movie, where he ended up, like, flipping over, I don't even know how many times he barrel rolled. It was pretty cool. Pretty dark scene for Pixar standards, but overall, a really nice car. I love how it says light your tires on the side. That is really cool, honestly, compared to how it usually... If you don't know, NASCAR, which is what Cars the movie was based off of, they actually use Goodyear tires. If I can try to focus in on that. Yeah, you can see right there, it says Goodyear right there. So they decided to spoof it with their own version called Lightyear, which is based off of Buzz Lightyear and Goodyear tires, but mostly after Buzz Lightyear. And I really like how they included this little Easter egg in the movie because it makes it just that cool, much cooler that they were able to combine elements of Toy Story into this film as well. One of the most visually impressive movies that they've created, honestly, still. The amount of detail that is in the Cars movies is honestly really cool. Alright, so next up is another car that was in a horrific wreck. This one actually happened in real life in a NASCAR race. The 2020 Daytona 500. It is Ryan Newman's, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Maybe it's like Coke or something like that. So I know Blake Koch was a NASCAR driver. Same spelling, I'm pretty sure as well. But this is Ryan Newman's car that he drove in the 2020 Daytona 500 and then got into that really nasty accident on the final lap of the race. So it was really, really bad. That race was supposed to happen on Sunday, but since rain, of course, had to show up, it ended up going on Monday. The race happened on a Monday. I remember watching the end of it. Oh my gosh, that wreck was just horrific. He was already upside down as is, but then this guy, Corey LaJoie, just comes in and just drills him right there. It was bad. It was really bad. But this is a very sleek looking car, I have to say. The number 6, this was his second to last year in this car before he eventually retired at the end of the 2021 season. The blue, the black, and the white, such a beautiful looking car, honestly. I love the blue coloring for the number 6 on the roof, but on the sides it's black. It looks really good, honestly. It makes it stick out more to the spotter, which I think was their goal. And it honestly is one of the more underrated cars. I think he did end up running this design again. I want to say the next season or that same season, but mostly remembered for that 2020 incident. And honestly, I wish he almost had that. He would have won the race if it wasn't for the blocks that he put and Ryan Blaney just destroying him at the end of that race. But it's a pretty solid looking car and is one of the most infamous or famous cars to have ran in this 2020 era of NASCAR. So it is incredible to have this. This car is actually quite pricey in the 124 scale. I've been trying to find one, but it's really hard to come by one of these in 124. So if anyone has any of these, or I'm going to try and find one eventually, but it's a pretty solid car. So next up here, we go from one Roush driver to another, and this one is an Xfinity Series car. We have this one. So let me focus in. There we go. Whenever I remove my hand, it focuses in so much better. It's crazy. All right, here we go. So this is Chris Buescher's 2015 Xfinity Series Champion car. This one is actually quite weird because I remember the Champion cars usually aren't supposed to have confetti or be like raced versions of them. They're supposed to be the basic version of that car. But on this one, you can actually see over here that there are marks on this car from, like, there's actually race damage on this car. I don't think I did that with a marker. I don't think so. But I think it's pretty cool that I don't know if it's just damage done over time, but anyways, this car is very, very nice. The Fastenal cars have usually have been very, very good over time. And this is another case of that. The white stripes running down the side panels right here. It looks so good, honestly. The number 60 is one of the most cursed cars in the Xfinity Series. There's entire videos that document this team, the Roush team in 2018, and how bad it was. But this was probably one of the best years, if not the best year for that team. Won the title competing against Chase Elliott, and it is a really obscure, and you kind of forget sometimes that Chris Buescher is technically a NASCAR champion in the Xfinity Series because it's not mentioned really at all. But this is a very solid car. Love the old Xfinity body. Old Xfinity body. It's just such a nice looking car. This was the beginning this year, or the 2015 season was the beginning of the modern Xfinity Mustang body, and now we're in we're in a newer era in the Xfinity series for Ford, at least, is where they're using the Dark Horse Mustang instead of the base typical Mustang. But overall, really nice car, looks great, and I'm glad I have this in my collection. Let's see, what else do we have here? I have a lot of stuff right here. This one's a little bit interesting, actually. This was a one-off race that happened. So this is Kevin Harvick's 2019 Busch Beer car-to-can paint scheme. So this car was ran during the Speed Weeks at Daytona, the first weekend of NASCAR. I don't know if it was the Clash or the Duels that ran. Or was it the entire weekend? I think it was the entire weekend that he ran this car. But this was a special promotion that Busch Beer was doing where they would take, after the race, all of the parts of this car would be turned into cans for Busch Beer. Now, it was a very cool promotion that they were giving away basically parts of this car, except not like the engine or anything like that, but all the sheet metal off this car would be turned into Busch Beer cans that would be sold within stores. So I think it's really cool that they were able to do something like this. It's very creative, very innovative, honestly, and it's just a very simple car, honestly. It's basically a black base, and I can't really complain about that because it still looks really good, honestly. Black cars, no matter what it really is, it still can look incredible unless they do really wacky colors with it. But it's a very good looking car, very simple, but the backstory behind it is really cool. I think I got this in the 2019 season as well. So the NASCAR Heat League, if anyone remembers that was a period where NASCAR gaming was kind of in a rough, it was heading down, but it was still, or it's technically back on the rise because the NASCAR Heat season or series was getting better with every single release. Then after 2020, Motorsport Games took over, and we all know how that went. So still no new game, and we're waiting for iRacing now, but the NASCAR Heat League is gone, and it's probably not gonna, I think it will come back with iRacing's new game, but anyways, it's a very nice car. I was getting really sidetracked right there, but just very glad to have this. Very cool backstory behind it. And we'll move on to the next car. It is not hump day, but it is still, or tomorrow is, but this is a very, very random car as well. This is Ty Dillon's Geico Hump Day that ran on a Wednesday night at Darlington. This was at the very, very beginning of the 2020 series, after the Cup Series season, after COVID had hit, and the entire series had to be postponed until May, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they decided to start doing Wednesday night races to try and catch up to where the season was supposed to be at that point. So there was actually a double-header weekend at Darlington where the race was on Sunday. Kevin Harvick ended up winning the first race. But then a few days later, they would do it again on Wednesday night instead. And this was one of the cars that ran during that race. This Ty Dillon Blue number 13. A bunch of them actually changed the paint schemes or almost all of them changed their paint schemes that weekend. Even like they had 3 days to change all the cars. And honestly, it was really cool to have Wednesday night racing during the modern era, which it would seem crazy to do nowadays in terms of ratings, but there was nothing on TV back then. So NASCAR was the only sport basically on TV. So people were tuning in, and they decided to get as much of it as they could out of the ratings before everything got back to normal. But really like this car. I love the camel right there, or yeah, I think it's camel on the front right there. The colors, the different shades of blue on the top and the lower shade of blue. These tires right here, what does that say on there? can't read that. I cannot read that. But it's a very nice car. Love the camel speaking on the front. Geico is leaving NASCAR after this year, and this team doesn't even exist anymore. Germain Racing was a team that was running the Geico cars in the number 13. They ended up closing up shop after the 2020 season. I think they sold their charter to 2311 back in 2021, and that's how 2311 began. And I think it still is. That 23 car is the traces of this number 13. So overall, very nice car. What does it say on there? Guess what day? Oh, that's clever. On the back it says, guess what day it is, and the camel on the front says hunt, or the camel on the front says hump day. Very, very cool car. Glad I have this because Geico cars are kind of rare to come by. I do actually have a Casey Mears number 13 Geico car from 2016, I want to say. But very nice car. Glad I have this. All these have been very nice cars. Do I have any that are just straight up ugly? Let me think. I don't think I really have any that are that terrible to look at, honestly. But I have a bunch of random ones. Let's keep the train of Geico going, honestly. I really like these Geico cars. So here's another one. This is another Ty Dillon car. This is, I want to say, 2019. Let me see. It should say on the bottom here. Hold on. I think it says 2019. Yeah, this is a 2019 Ty Dillon's Geico Primary. This is the normal Geico car that was running every single week in the Cup Series, and it is a very, very simple car. It's kind of the same for years when Geico was sponsoring cars. The white top, and then you have the green and the blue on the bottom, but these cars always look so good. I remember when Ty Dillon would just be randomly in the front every single week. It was kind of, or he would be having a good run every single, or kind of underrated. He'd just pop up every once in a while at the drafting tracks, especially. Like, I remember in 2020, he almost won the Talladega Fall race at the end, and it was pretty impressive. They ended up finishing, I think, top 5 in that race. So, just really cool. And I'm glad I have Geico cars because they are going away at the end of the season. So I think that they're going to be a lot hard to come by. They have not sponsored in the Cup Series since 2020. So pretty cool to have a piece of history, technically, because he did end up winning that stage against Clint Boyer in Bristol, and I still remember that. Alright, so next up here, let's see. What do I got here? Just a bunch of random stuff. This is a Denny Hamlin car. This isn't the one he won the 500 in, but it is the primary car that he did drive in the 500. So this is Denny Hamlin's 2016 FedEx Express number 11 that he drove during the 2016 season. Most notably, he won the Daytona 500 in this car for the first time in his career. That was his first Daytona 500, what would be the first of 3. Now, this is, I want to say, one of the last great years of FedEx designs, honestly. This was the black base with the purple and the orange running down the side. It honestly is one of my favorite cars. And that throwback, I think he did a throwback 2 years ago to this car. And it did not get did not make a production at Lionel Racing. If there was a custom to be bought, if I was to buy a custom, it would definitely be that 2022 FedEx throwback to this car because it was incredible. Even with the moved up number, it looked, honestly, that should have been the primary for this season, is this car, but that design that ran during the 2022 race should have been the primary for the rest of the entire season. It should be now still, but unfortunately we can't get what we want. But this is a very solid car. I think this is the car that I think the 2016 Daytona 500 is the closest Daytona 500 finish of all time. but I think this was also one of the final seasons that they were doing the changing colors on these cars. Like, it would be orange this race, but the next one would be green, purple. I don't know if they were doing it in 2016 or not, but very solid car. A historic car because he won the Daytona 500 in this, but glad to have it. Another piece of history, technically. Wish I had the raced version. I don't know if they made the raced version for that or not, but no, sorry, these are not for sale. These are not. None of these are for sale. This is just a random collection that I've accumulated over the years and don't have any plans of selling at all. There's so much stuff in here, honestly. It's years of collecting. But this is another bizarre one. This is a race-winning car from 2017, and it would be his first. So this is Austin Dillon's Dow, or 2017 Dow car, patriotic car that he ran at the 2017 Coca-Cola 600, right? Is that what's called? The Coke 600, yeah. So this was his first win. He would end up winning this race purely on fuel mileage. Jimmy Johnson ran out of fuel, I think, in the last 3 laps. And Austin Dillon happened to be there in second place, and he would swoop in to take the win. So this is a very, very interesting looking car, honestly. Because it's like, it kind of looks like wood, honestly. It has that wood texture on it. The American flag running down the side right there is really cool. And it's pretty cool to look at, honestly. There is confetti there on the back of the deck lid, as you can see right there. But I think this, I don't know if I got this through the Authentics line or if this was from like eBay, something like that. But really like this car, honestly. Glad I got it because this was Austin Dillon's first win of what would be, I think he has 5 wins now, something like that, of which all of them have come at some sort of controversy or been deemed illegitimate by fans. But I think it's cool to have the number 3 back in victory lane at least once. I wish someone else was driving that number 3, honestly, but Austin Dillon, when he gets on a roll, he can get on a roll. And he's not been really the same as he was like in 2020 and 2021 when he was constantly having like solid runs in this car. But hope to see that version of Austin Dillon come back eventually one day if he is to keep driving in the Cup Series. But what else do we got here? I already told people at the beginning of the stream, but I have a crate full of stuff. I'm just digging through and trying to think of anything to show right now. This is another weird one. Or not a weird one, but this is another cool one. So this is Kevin Harvick's number 4 Budweiser chase car, I guess you can call it. This is not the championship winning car, but this is his primary for the chase series. So once the playoffs begin, this was the first year of the brand new playoff format in NASCAR where I think it was the win and you're in situation, but a very, very nice looking car. This was his first season at Stewart-Haas Racing, driving the number 4. Him and Ryan Newman practically swapped rides because he went to the number 4, or Harvick went to the number 4, and Newman went to the number 31. So they practically swapped rides, and they would end up finishing first and second in the championship that year. So this was the beginning of his championship running in 2014. A very nice looking car. I have this in a 124 scale, actually, the newer one, the 2023 one. I would love to get this in the 2014 version as well for the 124, but those are so hard to come by because of how good looking and how what the meaning behind it is. But love the red, love the white. It's such a simple car, simple designs, but the detail is very good on this car. Love the hood right here. It looks very good. But solid car to have. Another great looking car. Glad to have that one as well. Let's see, what else do we got? Paul Menard. Yeah, let's do Paul Menard. So we got Paul Menard here. This is another random one. Let me focus in. There we go. So this one's also kind of beat up because of everything that's gone through over the years. But this is Paul Menard's number 21 Richmond Water Heaters and Menard's bright yellow 21 car that he was driving at Wood Brothers for the 2018 and 2019 season. This is the 2018. Reason you can tell, in case you don't know, is that in 2018 they were still running the Ford Fusion body, and in 2019, if I have okay, here we go. In 2019, all of them switched over to the Mustang body. So this is the last season of the Fusion body before it would end up getting replaced by the Mustang, because I don't think they were making Fusions anymore. I don't know if they were, or I don't think they make them anymore, so glad they chose the Mustang instead, because the Mustang looks incredible. Honestly, at least in the last few years of the Gen 6 era, it looked incredible. But this one is a bright yellow with a red number on it. Very, very simple. Not really a big fan of it. I love Paul Menard, though. Paul Menard is one of those random drivers that you just think about every once in a while. He's like, oh yeah, that guy drove in NASCAR. He is actually tearing it up in the I think Trans Am series. Pretty cool to see that he's still got the racing spirit in him. But in NASCAR, he had one win, the Brickyard, in 2011, I think. 2011 or 2012. I know it was during the last years of the COT era. So very bright yellow with a red number. It's it's very easy to spot out, but just very bland. The damage on this is not a damaged car. This is just the primary, but it's been beat up over so much time. So kind of weird, but I like weird cars like that. What else do we got? This one's kind of random as well. So this is, this is Brett Moffitt's number 24 Plan B sales, aka this is the Diecast wholesale retailer version of Circle B Diecast. So this is Brett Moffitt. He drove with, this is GMS, right? Let me see, is this GMS Racing? Yeah, this is GMS Racing. So he drove with them full-time in 2019 and 2020 after he moved from his championship-winning team, that number 16 truck. He went to this team for the last two seasons. Almost won the title in 2020 until a caution came out, but very nice-looking car. The orange roof number really stands out. I get why they do that because of the sponsors, but very clean. Love the white base with the blue and the darker gray in the back. The blue right here really works, honestly. The people at Circle B and Plan B sales, they know how to make great looking cars that run on the track. One of my favorites is that Brett Moffitt number, I think it was the 07 in the Xfinity series. That one was extremely clean. I gotta pick that one up if I find it, but 164 at least, because that car was incredible. But this is a very solid truck. One of the few trucks I have in 164 scale. Glad I got it, and it is very random, which is pretty cool, honestly. What else I got? Should I show another truck? I think I am going to show another truck. So this is another truck series car. I think this is a win. This is Kyle Busch's number 51, the truck series when he was driving at KBM, or owned KBM, actually. This is I don't know how to pronounce that at all. Cessna? Something like that. I think this is a win truck, actually. I think he won at Atlanta with this, or this is the specific Atlanta version, but very nice. Love the black base with the white and the red running down the side right here. That red streak going all the way, and then it starts breaking apart when it gets to the brake light, the fake brake light on the back. It looks pretty good, honestly. But the giant deck lid with the Toyota and the whatever Beechcraft, something like that, it's kind of weird to look back that he was having a successful career at Toyota, and then everything just started to fall apart in 2020. But very nice truck. kind of wish KBM was still in the or in the truck series, because it was a force to be reckoned with every single week. And when it eventually switched to Toyota or to Chevy in 2023, it was just not the same at all. But very cool to have another truck in my collection. I think I'm going to do a couple more and then end up wrapping the stream up. Let's see, what else do we got? Let's do some more Disney cars to end off here. Do I have any... You know what, let's do... Yeah, wait, hold on. This one's weird. So this is a Chick Hicks car, okay? This is a Chick Hicks number 86 HTB bank car. This is the main car that was driven, or the main design that Chick Hicks had during the first film, Cars 1. This is called sponsor overload, basically, because of how many decals are on this thing. This camera's acting weird, really weird. I guess I'm gonna have to hold it one hand because it keeps getting blurry. But this one's weird because the front of it has that reflective eye thing. Where one side you look at it, it shows one pair of eyes, the other it looks like a different one. So like right there, you can see it shows it going, his eyes are looking to the left. But if you twist it a little bit, you'll see that the other pair of eyes start to show up and he's looking to the right. Kind of weird that they made stuff like this. As you can see right there, it shows it a lot better actually. But kind of weird. I don't really like the cars that look like this. I like the ones that are more just, the eyes don't move. Like this one, for example, you can tell. Like if you move this one to the, it changes eyes, but this one it just stays the exact same. But love Chick Hicks, honestly. That Chick Hicks is one of the more I feel like he's an underrated villain because he was just a jerk the entire first Cars movie. He was just the ultimate antagonist, he was blatantly wrecking people to win, and they did not do anything about it. But I think he is based off an old, like a 1980s NASCAR stock car. I think this is more of like a Buick or something like that. So it's honestly really creative designs that they had. I know the King was like a Plymouth Superbird, something like that ran in NASCAR. Chick was a 1980s, like a 87, 88, 89 Buick NASCAR, and then Lightning McQueen is like just a bunch of random parts put together, basically. Really like this, honestly. Love the green and all the sponsors running down on this car. It just makes it look really crazy, which is kind of what Chick Hicks was in this film, was crazy. It's also really beat up, as you can tell. This car is almost 15 years old, or almost 20 years old. That's, oh my gosh. I think this car is almost 16 to 20 years old. I don't know the exact time. But, now what else do we have here? Oh yeah, okay. So this is another one. This came out, I got this I think in 2017, but this is the Pizza Planet truck in the Cars universe. So yes, the Pizza Planet truck, if you did not know, it has been shown multiple times in the Pixar universe, if you want to call it that, but this is the Cars version of it, the living version, and it is a Toyota truck, if I remember correctly. They took off the Toyota, the T and the A and the T and the O in the front, so it just says Yo on the like, you know, on the bumper. But Pizza Planet was first shown in the first Toy Story movie, the iconic yellow truck with the white, like, what do they call this, the living camper or something? I don't know. I don't know exactly what it's called, honestly. But the rocket on the top, the infamous rocket. So this was released in 2017 for the release of Cars. This is one of the Demolition Derby drivers that was in the movie. So pretty cool that the Pizza Planet truck finally got a diecast of itself in the Cars universe. Love this car. It looks pretty cool, actually. And honestly, glad to have this. Pretty solid looking as well. I love it's a yellow base and the white camper on the tailgate looks really cool, honestly. Alright, I think I'm gonna do one more and then wrap the stream up. Let's see what we got. Let's end it off. What the heck is this thing? You know what, let's end it off with a NASCAR, actually. Let me grab a NASCAR real quick. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's end it off with the Intimidator. This is Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s classic number 3 Goodwrench Service diecast. Don't know which year this ran in. Let's just say on the bottom here. No, it does not. Okay. But this is the iconic black number 3 with the silver going down the side panel with the red line above it. One of the most recognizable cars to ever run in NASCAR. The black base with the white number 3 with the red outline. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was known for his aggressive driving. This is one of the most aggressive looking cars that have ever ran in NASCAR, honestly. When you saw this car behind you, you knew you were in deep trouble because this guy, Dale Earnhardt Sr., would not mess around at all. Love this car a lot. It is so cool to have technically a piece of history. Dale Earnhardt Sr. won 7 NASCAR championships, a Daytona 500, and it's one of the, technically, I would want to say, one of the lead reasons for why NASCAR is as big as it is. It was huge in the 90s because of Sr. and Gordon, but I think Dale Sr. kind of started all of that before Gordon got there, but glad to have a senior car, honestly. Love it so much. And with that will conclude today's live stream. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And just before I end, here's just one random car to look at. Like this one. This is a weird car. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.